Hi, this is Lori from Shoo Shoo Paper Art. I've been having a lot of fun guest designing for Waffle Flower this week, and this is one of the cards I made with the new stamp set, Harpy Birthday. Cute and quirky and fun. Who wouldn't want a dog playing a harp, right? So anyway, let's make a fun create your own heart stencil background. And oh, please excuse the burn on my finger. It looks terrible, but I did that taking a pecan pie out of the oven for Thanksgiving. So anyway, it's healing up, but it looks terrible. All right, so this background starts with a 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 Bristol paper, smooth Bristol. And I like it with the distress inks and oxides. It just blends so smoothly. I made my own heart stencils. These are the ones I used for the card, so they've already got ink on them. With the dies from Love Notes from Waffle Flower. And there's a whole bunch of different hearts in here, all different sizes. And I just ran them through my Big Shot to make dies, or sorry, to make stencils. So let's get started. All right, on the pink hearts, and I used 2 different inks, the Spun Sugar and Picked Raspberry for a bit of accent or deepening of color. Wasn't quite getting a nice variation of color, so I wanted to add some Picked Raspberry to that. I'm just going to start with the Spun Sugar and put it all over the open area of that heart. And it's not a bad idea to use a piece of tape or something to go ahead and kind of hold those, to help you hold those together. You can do it with your fingers, but it still helps to have something to stabilize those. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of layers of the Spun Sugar, maybe more than a couple. I think my pad's also a little bit dry. And once I've got the Spun Sugar in there, I'm going to highlight it with some Picked Raspberry. And I don't want the full strength of the Picked Raspberry, so I'm going to kind of touch it to the pad really lightly and then just brush some of that off, and then come in and put some on maybe the lower outside areas of that heart. And I've kind of got a nice variation on that. Okay, I'm going to continue with the pink hearts. Now for the yellow hearts, I'm using Squeeze Lemonade Distress Oxide, and I'm just using the one color. I was able to get kind of a nice variated color, so I didn't really need another color of yellow to help me do that. And I just kind of emphasized certain areas more than others to get kind of a variated look, so it wasn't all just kind of a solid color. I also did the same thing with the blue, which is Tumbled Glass. I just used one color for it as well. And I'm just going to fill in areas with the blue or the Tumbled Glass. And there's really no rhyme or reason. I'm doing hearts straight, tilted, even some upside down, just to give kind of a variety of hearts there. And also I'm using 3 different sizes for the blue, the really tiny, the medium, and then this one that's a little bit larger. Okay, so now that the background is finished, I'm going to stamp this darling little dog playing the harp. And I'm going to stamp it onto the Bristol cardstock using Gathered Twigs Distress Ink. Kind of like the color, and I thought it would set off the yellows of the harp really well. The first time I stamped it, I did gold embossing, and I don't know, I just didn't think that the detail turned out very well. So I decided on Gathered Twigs instead. Also, one of the problems I had with the Gathered Twigs, and it may be because it's on Bristol, I'm not really exactly sure, but the first time I stamped it with the Gathered Twigs, I had ink blurring with my Copics. So I'm going to use a heat tool to set this. I think if you let it dry for a little while on its own, even if you don't have a heat tool, that would work as well. Got that dry a little bit. I'm ready to start the coloring process with my Copics, and I'm going to start with this cute little dog, and he's basically just one color, a Y21. So here we go. so I ran that through my Big Shot and have that ready to put on my card. Now, even though I didn't like the gold embossing on the whole thing, I really liked the gold strings as embossing. So I'm going to do that now. Now this comes apart when the die is ran through, so I don't need that part. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, I'm kind of going to decide here where I'm going to place my little puppy. And I think I'll just turn it just a little bit. There we go. Maybe something like that. And once I determine where it's going to go, I can place my stamp back on right where that's going to go. Okay, and pick that up. Okay, and now I'll get rid of my actual piece that I'm going to use. And I'm going to use VERSAMARK ink and some gold, let's see, what is this called? Recollection Sparkle Embossing Powder to do the embossing on the strings. Now, I don't really need the whole entire thing, so I'm going to be focusing on the strings. Okay, once I've got that on, now I'm ready to do some music notes in heat embossing as well. And I'm using the little music notes right here from the stamp set. A couple more music notes here and here, and now I'm going to make the little tag. It's just a little 1 1/4 by 1 1/8 piece of Bristol, and I'm going to use picked raspberry, and I want it to be darker at the top and fade at the bottom, so I'm just going to start on the end that I want to be darker. And then just fade it on out towards the bottom. That's about it, maybe a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to stamp it with the Just a Note sentiment from the stamp set. There are some funner sentiments, like, you know, Harpy birthday, or you make my harp skip a beat, which is really cute. But the person that I wanted to send this off to, those didn't really work. So, and I think the Just a Note is really pretty. The script is really pretty, and I think she'll really like it. Make sure I turn that the right way. And I'm going to move this down here just in case, so that I have some guidelines there. All right, I think we're ready to put this card together. Okay, this card is 4.5 by 6 inches, and I'm covering a card base with some Bazzill, I think it's called Robin's Egg cardstock. And then I'm putting on the heart panel that I made with the stencils from the Love Note. And we also have that embossing already done. Finished off the card with a few gems that I had in my stash, and that is it. So I hope you make a heart stencil background. It was kind of fun, and I love the pink and the yellow and the blue, and of course the adorable little dog playing a harp. So thank you for joining me, and remember, you can always find me at shooshoopaperart.com.